ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Can I have a show of hands who are here for the first time? First time, okay, few devotees. Welcome. As you mentioned, this is the first time we're having this program on Sunday, and we'll be continuing this every Sunday. So please make this part of your usual Sunday schedule. Don't cook at home in the evenings. Just come here, relish nice Hare Krishna Kirtan and discussion of Krishna conscious philosophy, and have prasadam and relish arati afterwards, and that'd be a good end to the weekend and nice beginning to the week working day, in which we can look forward to the next Sunday. So after so much contemplation on what I should be speaking on this first Sunday class, I did a preparation for about 12 hours of preparing PowerPoint slides, and then when I saw you all, I decided to ditch that and completely change everything. Because I feel that all here are devotees. Even those people I'm seeing for the first time, Krishna has brought you here because you have faith in Krishna, and Krishna has instilled that faith. So everyone has this faith, those who come here, that Shraddha Shabde Vispas Kahe Srudhir Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hai. Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Shraddha is something very sublime. What does that Shraddha mean? That Krishna Bhakti Kaile, that if I simply do devotional service unto Krishna, then Sarva Karma Krit Hai, then all my karma, all my activities, including material activities, they will be perfected. There is nothing extra I have to try. I may be doing other things, but even when I'm doing those things, the purpose of doing those things ultimately is to please Krishna. So this is one of the famous verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 9th canto, titled Rajvidya, Rajguhyam, the king of all knowledge. Text number 22, one of my favorite verses. So we thought we'll just discuss on this. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam Ananyashchintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham Ananyashchintayanto mam Ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Just one quick question. Those who know this verse by heart, raise your hands. Okay, few devotees. So let's aim it that we memorize this verse in this session. If not in this session, then throughout the week, and by next Sunday we should have this by heart. So is that okay, Ishan? You'll memorize this verse and have it by heart by next Sunday? Yes? I'll take it that yes. Yes, someone lead and let everyone repeat. Now sing nicely in the same tune so that it becomes familiar. Ananya Shintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Yes, we will see. Ananya Shintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Yes. Ananya Shintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So we'll have more opportunities to recite. Let's look at word to word. Ananya, having no other object. Chintayantaha, concentrating. Mam, on me. Ye, those who. Janaha, peasants. Paryupasate, properly worship. Tesham, of them. Nitya, always. Abhiyuktanam, fixed in devotion. Yoga, requirements. Shemam, protection. Vahamyaham, vahami, carry. Aham, I. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Please repeat. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, please hear. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day. Being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization. So, that is the only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Shema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable condition life. Jai Bhakti Vedanta Purport Ki Jai. Bhutair Mahadvir Ima Puro Vibhu Nirmaya Shete Yadamushu Purusha Bhumte Gunan Shodasha Shodashatmaka Solam Krisishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satatapi Putam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Ananya Shintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Mahamyaham. So in the translation we see that Krishna is telling Arjuna, but. So where does this but come from? This but actually is a continuation from the previous verses. So in the previous verse, if you look at Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is mentioning about worship of other demigods. And therein he says that those worshippers of other demigods, they will attain to the planet of demigods. And in those planets, Tetvam Bhuktva Svargalokam Vishalam, they will enjoy the vast happiness of the heavenly planets. However, Shine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. Shine means that when their piety, the good deeds they have done, it expires. It's like, driving through a toll road. That from our debit or credit card, $100 is taken out. But that $100 cannot be used for perpetuity. It has expiry. The more you go through the toll roads, then the amount will be debited from our balance. So similarly, anything good, punya karya or sukrit that we have performed, that has expiry when we use the due credit in enjoyment, especially of the heavenly pleasures. So shine means it is expiring, it has become zero. So punya, that punya, good deed that we have done, that result of that good deed we have already debited into our account and it has become zero. And what happens when it becomes zero? Martyalokam Vishanti. Again we come down to this planet of Mrityulokam, called planet of death, the cycle of birth and death. Shine Punyam Martyalokam Vishanti. And Krishna goes on to say, Evam Tridharmam Anuprapanna Gata Gatam Kama Kama Labhante. That such a person following the three kinds of Vedas, which actually encourage people to perform these pious activity, the activity of sense gratification and various allurements, they basically, like a monkey, just go high in the tree, then come down from the tree, and they keep doing that. Kama Kama Labhante, impelled by desire. Then in this particular verse, Krishna goes on to say, however, Ananya Shintayanto Mam. So in the translation we read that Ananyasa, Prabhupada translates that as exclusive devotion. That word Ananya means. What does Anya mean? Other. Anya means other. Ananya means not other. Then who? That is preceded by the word Mam. What does Mam mean? Me. So does it mean me? No. Krishna is speaking this to Arjuna. So Krishna then says, Ananya Shintayanto Mam. That who is doing Chintayantaha, concentrating, but his concentration, his thinking, his remembrance, and Prabhupada very nicely gives in the purport the ninefold process of devotional service, which is Shravanam, hearing of chanting of the holy names of the Lord, which so nicely everyone was doing here. Kirtanam, singing the glories of the Lord. So we hear and we sing. Then Smaranam, and those who are singing, hearing, then also they are thinking about the Lordships. This is Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. And Prabhupada goes on to say, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana, and then those who are praying, Pada Sevana, those who are saving the lotus feet of the Lord, Dasya, those who are doing some service. So while Kirtan was going on, there were devotees outside saving, preparing for the prasadam, laying down the mats, putting on the lights. Now the evening time has come, so that more devotees can be attracted. Cooking prasadam, making garlands, and so forth. This is called dasyam, saving the Lord. And then sakhyam, regarding Lord and having an intimate relationship like Arjuna has with Lord in friendship. And Atma Nivedanam, ultimately offering everything we have to the Lord. These 9 constitute the 9 limbs or aspects of devotional service that we can do. And scriptures say, if any one of these 9 limbs, we just perfect it, then we can achieve mercy of Krishna. What are the examples of these 9 limbs? We'll cover that a bit later. Please remind me if we forget. But the qualitative point here given in this phase line is what? How should the Chintayantaha, or the remembrance and the concentration of Krishna be? Yes, Anmisha? Having no other object. So Ananya, having no other object apart from Krishna. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. So this point we have to remember, that Krishna is a supreme attention seeker. He likes to have exclusive devotion. When you remember the Damodar pastime, we see that when Mother Yashoda put her attention on the pot of overboiling milk, Krishna did not like it at all, although the milk was meant for Krishna. But nonetheless, he became quite upset and annoyed. How could my mother leave me and go to attend that overboiling pot of milk? So similarly, Krishna actually wants our exclusive attention and he demands it. But is that an unreasonable demand? You can disagree and let me know if you think it's an unreasonable demand. But then you have to give me a reason as well why you think it's unreasonable. Actually, it's not unreasonable demand. Why? Because Krishna in Bhagavad Gita claims, Mama evamsho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, that you or we, jiva, Krishna says, Mama eva, you are mine. Krishna has already claimed that we are his. And because we are Krishna's, we are meant to offer exclusive attention to Krishna. And that is actually perfection of life. However, what is happening, that we become allured by Krishna's material nature, his creation. And in that allurement, Krishna says, Manah shastani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. We are trying to exploit the resources of material nature. Through our senses, we are trying to exploit and enjoy them. But it is karshati, Krishna says. Karshati means it's a hard struggle for existence. We are dismally failing in doing so. Why? Because this material world is said to be a reflection of the spiritual world. You go in a river bank and you see the reflection of mango on the river, and you take that as real and you jump in the river to get that mango, you won't get the mango, you'll become wet, you'll become frustrated. So similarly, any desire in this material world we have, recently His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj was here, and he was explaining this point, that the material desires that we have, which is diverting, it is anya, it is not ananya, it is diverting attention from Krishna, are kachan vichinban, are like broken pieces of glasses that we are mentioning. So anything that we desire apart from Krishna, just take it as they are broken pieces of glasses. What can you do with broken pieces of glasses? Nothing. You cannot even join them. Once a glass is broken, it's broken. It becomes shattered. And what is dangerous about broken pieces of glasses? Yes, if we try to deal with it, it can cut us. It can harm us. As soon as there is a glass broken, especially if little children are around, we just run to pick them up. Even though we ourselves may get hurt in the process, but we don't want the children to get hurt. So desires, material desires, which are anya, apart from Krishna, they are like pieces of broken glasses. They actually cause harm to us. What is the harm? The greatest harm is that they take us away from Krishna. Krishna claims, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. This Jiva, living entity, firstly he says it's mine, Mama, and then he says it is eternal, Sanatana. But what is the Jiva doing? Manashashtanindriyani. Mind along with 5 senses, making it 6. Prakriti sthani karshati. It's trying to exploit the resources of material nature. And it's becoming bewildered. And Krishna explains in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that the senses never become satisfied. We think that yes, we can satisfy the senses. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter explains, Duspurena analena cha, that trying to satisfy our senses is like pouring ghee into the fire. It continuously burns, but it is never satisfied. Rupa Goswami very nicely mentions that kama dinam katina katida palayan durnidesam. The senses, they give us durnidesham. Durnidesham means they tell us, yes, I want this, you do it now. Kama dinam. By lust, the lust demand of the various senses. Do this, see that, hear this, smell this, touch this. Palayan durnidesam. Durnidesam means false order. Those orders which will harm us. Kama dinam katina katida. And he says, in how many millions of ways, katina katida, I have tried to satisfy my senses. In thousands of ways I have tried to satisfy my senses. Kama dinam katina katida. How? Palayan durnidesan. Because whatever the senses have demanded, I have just followed and done that. However, Tesham jata mayina karuna natrapano pashanti. But these senses have shown me no mercy. No mercy at all. And natrapa no pashanti. No, the senses have become satisfied and pleased. You know, when we do something for someone, we actually can start Aarti at 7 o'clock, if that's okay. Yeah, offering is going on. That's good. Jai Shri Radha-giri Govardhan Hare ki. It's nice time for offering. So, Tesham jata mayina karuna. The senses say, what? Is that all you can do for me? Sometimes, we take a resolution. Okay, last time, I'll do it. And never again. But there is no last time. The activity, any activity we do, there is two aspects to it. The first aspect is what? When we do action, there is a reaction. So there is karma and there is phala, the fruit of that karma. But what is the second thing? Second thing is more dangerous than the first one. The second thing is, any activity we do creates a proclivity in our heart to do that same activity again. It plants the seed of a future sin or a future activity. And that then again in due course of time sprouts. So that is called papa bija, the seed of sin. Therefore, resolutions will not work. No matter how hard we say, and we are disgusted with ourselves. Sometimes, there is the story of Burbank Thakur. He was so infatuated and impelled by lust that he was disgusted with himself. It is said at a night time when there was storm, he did not have any money and he wanted to see this society woman. And he was begging his wife that, give me some money. I cannot live without seeing Chintamani, the society woman. And she said, this is all I have. And she gave her last jewelry to him. And he swam across the dead night, across the river, with help of a log, and went to Chintamani and said, I have come, O Chintamani, please accept me. And Chintamani said, what have you got for me? And he showed this jewel. And Chintamani said, is that all you have? Is that all that you can do for me? And then Chintamani said to him that this is your wife's, and you have come at the dead, at night, and that too it storms out there. The rivers have just crossed their banks, and it's so dangerous, and you have come like this. If the same devotion and desire and desperation, if you only had for Krishna, you would attain Krishna's devotional service. And when Viraj Thakur heard that, it gave him instant realization, yes, I've wasted my life. I've wasted my life in this society woman. And he took a resolution that from now onwards, I will not become impelled by sin. And he started going to Vrindavan in the same way, with the same determination. No, I will not become impelled by sin. But he saw a Brahmana's wife, and that Brahmana's wife looked like Chintamani. And immediately he could not control himself. He went to the house, and outside the house he was standing there, just looking at her. And then the Brahmana came and asked the wife, there seems to be a guest outside. And Brahmana Patni replied, yes, and he's been standing there staring at me for all this time. So Brahmana said, he must be in need of something. Then the Brahmana went out to ask, yes, say, what can we do for you? How can we serve you? And Viraj Thakur was so impelled by his lust, he told the Brahmana that I am attracted to your wife. And Brahmana, seeing the state of desperation of Bilvamangal Thakur, just said, okay, if that is the case, you can just see my wife. And when the Brahmana said that, Bilvamangal Thakur became so disgusted with himself. And he said, these eyes have no control. And he asked the Brahmana's wife, can you please give me your hairpins? And immediately he took the hairpins and he just poked into his eyes. And he gave his vision that these visions are the cause of sin for me. Of course, that is Bilvamangal Thakur. He was a great devotee of the Lord, but he had this weakness, and that weakness actually was coming from his past life. We won't go into the past life of his, but he had done something which caused this samsara, this samskara, this proclivity to act in a certain way. Similarly, we all have these proclivities from this life and last life. And where is this proclivity coming from? Because we have done similar things which plant the seed of sin. And how can the seed of sin completely be extinguished? That's the question. There are a lot of weeds in the lawn. So with simply, have you cut your lawn? Yes. So by simply doing the lawn mowing, what will happen? The weeds will grow again. And it will grow with more vengeance because the so-called the seeds of the weeds will be spread all over the place. But what is the best way to get rid of those weeds? Either pluck it out or completely burn it. And devotional service is the only process which burns the seed of sin. This is the question Maharaj Parikshit asks Shukdev Goswami in Bhagavatam, that simply by doing pious activity, we cannot counteract sinful activity. You do sinful activity, you will get the result of that sin. And people think, oh, let me do some pious activity to counteract that. But that is another activity. So you will get the result of sin, you will get result of piety. However, one who is doing devotional service, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Buddhi yukta jahati ha ubhe sukrita duskrite, that, Arjuna, do devotional service, which is called Buddhi yukta jahati ha. This Buddhi yukta, Krishna explains, means tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Bhajatam priti purvakam. Bhajatam priti purvakam means what? With love and devotion, doing my devotional service. So Krishna says what? Tesham nitya viyukta. What was that? No. That is this verse. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priyut dadami buddhi yogam tam. That I give those persons intelligence by which they can come to me. So, what happens is ubhe sukrita duskrute. When one arises from the mundane piety, punya, and duskrita, from sinful propensities, that only happens by devotional service. Because devotional service is not a patchwork. Devotional service burns the seed or the proclivity which is in our heart to carry out sinful activities. And this is how Ajamil is saved. When Ajamil becomes aware that just by chanting the name of Narayana, his various sins were completely eradicated, then he undertook devotional service. So Bilvamangal Thakur became a great saint. And though it is said he's lost his vision, he used to always see Krishna. There's three kinds of vision. What vision we see now, and then there is the vision that we look through the scriptures. So this vision through the scriptures, Krishna is given. And then there is the transcendental spiritual vision where we see the Lord. And this vision comes with realization. So, Ananya Shintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate. So Ye Jana means those persons. Paryupasate means those who worship Krishna like that. What is the result? Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam. So Nitya means always. And Abhiyuktanam means fixed in devotion. Those who are always fixed in devotion like this for Krishna, then what does Krishna do? Yogakshemam vahamyaham. Whatever our requirement is, whatever the devotee needs, Krishna delivers. Yoga. And Shema. And whatever the devotee already has, Krishna protects. So Krishna does yoga, whatever we lack he gives, and whatever the devotee has, Krishna does Shema, protect. And Krishna does this Vaham, he does this personally. There is a pastime of a great Acharya, Arjuna Acharya. When he was reading this commentary to this verse, and in the commentary, it was written that Krishna himself personally comes to give protection to the devotee, and whatever the devotee lacks, carry them and give them that. So Arjuna Acharya thought, this doesn't seem to be true. Krishna may act through some agency of some other demigod, some other devotee, or material nature. But why does the Lord need to come himself? So what Arjuna Acharya did, he crossed out the word aham. Aham means I. He crossed out the word aham in Bhagavad Gita, his copy of the commentary he was reading. And he went out to take a bath in river. And when he had gone out to take bath in the river, then two young boys came. And they brought a lot of food stuff along with them, vegetables, grains, and so forth. And they knocked on the door of Arjuna Acharya, and his wife opened the door, and she welcomed them in and asked them, "Who are you and what have you got here?" And the young boy said, "Oh, we are disciples of your husband, and we have brought this Guru Dakshina, the remuneration of our spiritual master. Please accept this food, stuff and grains." So they left and they were going. And when the boys were going, Arjuna Acharya's wife saw that on their backs there were two red lines, as if someone had whipped them very harshly. And she stopped the boys and she asked that, "You are so good looking boys and you look so obedient, lovable. Who has harshly hit you like this?" And the boys replied that, "Your husband has punished us." And Arjuna Acharya's wife became so upset that, "Let my husband come and I will be on his case." That what was the need for him to punish these boys? What they must have done that he needed to punish them so harshly? The boys just smiled and went off. And then Arjuna Acharya came back after having the bath, and his wife immediately got on his case that what was the need for you to hit those young boys? And Arjuna Acharya thought, what is she talking about? And she said, 2 young boys came, look at all this foodstuff they have brought here. And they said, this is dakshina, remuneration for the education you have given them. But why did you hit them? There were 2 whip red marks on their backs. So Arjuna Acharya started thinking, what is she talking about? Then he paused and he remembered that I was reading the commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and I crossed out with 2 red lines the word aham. And he went back to the book and he opened up his Bhagavad Gita to this particular verse. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. And where it was written aham, Krishna says, I personally deliver, and I personally provide, and I personally protect. Those 2 red lines were gone from the book. And Krishna in effect is showing that no, I don't act through the agency. For my devotees who are devoted to me exclusively without deviation and continuously, nitya yuktanam, I personally, yogakshemam vahamyaham, whatever they lack, I give, whatever they have, I protect. So this is the guarantees, Prabhus and Matajis, that when we become devotees of Krishna, Krishna takes full care of us. We don't have to worry about anything. And Prabhupada says, why wouldn't we want to become devotees of Krishna? But there is only one condition. Krishna wants our love. He's not interested in anything else. And we'll end up this nice verse from Padyavali. Please repeat. Vyadhasya sharanam dhruvasya chavayo Vidya gajendrasya ka Kubjaya kim yunam rupam adhikam Kim tat sudam no dhanam Vamshah ko vidurasya yadavapatir Ugrasya kim paurushaham Bhaktya tushyati kevalam na chagunair Bhakti priyo madhava. So Rupa Goswami is asking, where was the piety of the Hanta Dharma? He was killing and butchering animals. Where was the maturity of Dhruv? And we'll expand next week on this verse more. Where was the beauty of Kubja? Where was the wealth of Sudama? Where was the good family lineage of Vidura? He was Dasiputra, the son of a maid servant. Where was the valor of King Ugrasena? But nonetheless, they all attained pure devotional service. Why? Because they exclusively and without deviation and continuously rendered devotional service to Krishna. And this pleases Krishna. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam na chagunai. Tushyati means satisfies. Bhaktya means of the devotee. So of the devotee, the devotion only satisfies Krishna. Nacha gunair, not, our so-called talents or qualities that we have. that is given by Krishna. But if we become proud of it, that is not what Krishna wants. Bhakti priyo madhava. Only devotion is pleasing to Madhava, pleasing to Krishna, the husband of goddess of fortune. So, if we can go away today and meditate throughout the week on this verse and try to learn it by heart, and then come again next week where we'll try to more discuss on this verse, that will be very nice. Is that a fair deal? Yes? I'm not convinced. Is it a fair deal?
Yes.
Please, let's do that so that we can relish this chanting and hearing more and more of these verses and the Mahamantra. Any questions or comments, Prabhus, Matajis?
What's the need for Krishna to supply protect? Doesn't need to that.
Krishna doesn't need to supply and protect. However, the love that the devotee pours on Krishna, Krishna cannot help but become impelled to do so. Otherwise, he can act through the agency of material nature. As it is, he is giving everything. He is giving oxygen, he is giving food, he is giving water. Everything is giving through the agency of material nature. But for his pure devotee, Krishna himself does this. Why? Because Krishna regards his pure devotee as his own. This nice story our Guru Maharaj told, and we can end by this, that once Birbal and Akbar, they were talking, and Akbar was saying, that in your religion, why does God have to come again and again, to deliver his devotees? Doesn't he have powers to invest in others to help? Allah doesn't have to come like that. He acts through others. So Birbal said that, you want the answer right now, or you want to see the answer? So Akbar thought better to see it. So he said, okay, in few days you'll see it. So what Birbal had done, made a statue of Akbar's daughter and put it in a vast lake in front of the palace, and the canoe man, he asked to row the canoe in the middle of the lake, and he said, when you see me and the Emperor Akbar, then you push the daughter of the canoe. And when he did this, Akbar, without any consideration, he just jumped into the lake and went to swim and get the daughter. But of course, when he reached the daughter, he found out it's a statue only. And he became disgusted because imagine your daughter falls down in the lake and she doesn't know how to swim. How desperate you would be. And so he became so angry, he came out with the door, just smashed the door on one side and said to Birbal, what was this? What kind of sick joke are you playing? So he said, this is the answer to your question, O Emperor. He said, your daughter drowned. So you have so many soldiers, so many servants. Why didn't you ask them to go and get your daughter? So Akbar said, what do you mean? She is my daughter. I could not help but go. So Birbal said, similarly, the Lord says, this is my devotee. I will not tell anyone else, but I myself will come and help and deliver my devotee. And why the devotee only prays to the Lord exclusively? Because Sarva Samartha Sahitaha, because the Lord is all able and He is fully equipped to do anything and everything. And therefore, the devotee does not deviate from his determination that no matter what, I will not look at anyone else, I will not worship anyone else, I will respect all, but my heart is exclusively for my Supreme Lord Krishna. Thank you for it. Nice question, Prabhuji. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. We can now stand up for Arati. Please bow down as the curtains open, and thereafter we'll have Nashim prayer and honor Prasadam. Please don't go without Prasadam. This feast